Frozen.
Yes, you're moving. Sorry, Tony. Thank you for joining with me, and I really appreciate your patience. I know it's the same thing as your movie. Yes, you're not moving now again, but that's fine. I'm happy with your voice.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
Tony, I'm coming back again from the beginning of the questions.
sure. Okay.
Yeah, Tony, could you please tell us your what is your passion and what is your profession?
Okay. So yeah, my name is Tony Chu. I'm an actor, screenwriter, and filmmaker, and I've just recently completed my first feature film called Mr. Red Bean. My profession is I am a hospital doctor, and I've been working as a hospital doctor for 40 years, more than 40 years.
Yeah, that's great. You're a doctor and now you're a writer, director. So how did this passion arrived, like, generated, originated it within you?
Yeah, no, I think I still identify myself as a doctor, but I thought there was this creative interest that I had started probably in high school, but through university and when I was working in the hospital, you suppress all of that because you had to work as a medical doctor. But about 25 years ago, I started thinking, well, can I tap into this creative interest? And so when I did, I started in the acting side of things, started doing acting courses, and then subsequently moved through and did some acting projects, such as being in amateur theatre, musical theatre, and then eventually did screen acting. And so I've been a professional actor now for more than 25 years. And from there, also went into making films. So I've made 35 short films across multiple genres. And then I figured that you can make as many films as you like, but the most important thing is writing. So I've actually now gravitated to writing, screenwriting. And throughout all of this, I feel writing is the most powerful and most important in the filmmaking process. And as I mentioned, I've written, directed, and produced my first feature film, and this was a project that was many years in the making, and it took a lot of a lot of sweat and tears, and eventually it got made. In fact, most recently now, it's just completed the um, the final mix of mixing the sound design and the music, and we're just putting that back into the visuals, and then we'll be able to do a screening soon.
Tony, it's an amazing thing. Being a doctor, that's a very high-rated profession, and also the same time you completed your first feature film. I congratulate you on that, and
Thank
definitely
you.
all the best for that.
Mm.
What is your cultural background and where you are from? When did you come to
Mm.
Australia?
Okay, yeah. So I was born in Hong Kong, and I came to Australia when I was 5 years old, and then grew up here in Sydney. And as you can see, you can hear from my accent, it's pretty much Aussie, Australian. So there, although when I do my acting, I have to put on my Chinese accent because sometimes in some roles they require me to have a Chinese accent, and the best one that I can identify with is Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan has the Chinese accent that everyone thinks, okay, that's the standard Chinese accent. So I have to put on my Jackie Chan accent for some roles.
No.
Yeah.
So, how do you actually navigate between your passion and professional life right now?
Hmm. You know, it's this process is very hard, and I do get asked by younger doctors and younger actors, how do you navigate between the two? And it's not an easy thing. And the way that I've had to do it for many years was I've had to work part-time as a doctor, part-time, accept a lower level of income, and then make myself available to go to acting auditions. And then, in fact, I ended up working my shifts. I end up working like on a Friday night, which gives me the weekday to do acting and to go to auditions and to write scripts and to make films, because then I reserve the Friday, which yeah is the time where I can do my hospital work. So navigating that is not easy. One of the things is like, particularly in a creative area, when you're meant to be a professional actor, you may get an audition one day and you have to go to the casting director the next day or the day after. You can't do that if you're working full time. Imagine if you're working full time as a hospital doctor and suddenly the next day you have to go to an audition. So that is always difficult, always tricky. And the only way I can think of navigating that is you have to make, what's your priority? Is your priority your profession? If your priority is your medical profession, then you go and do medical profession, and then the creative stuff is your hobby. But if you think that you want your creative profession to be your main profession, then you have to make your medical work part time. So that's how I navigate it.
It's exactly the point. Brilliantly managed, actually. So since you have you now you're in a position that, and I believe that you produced your own project to make it happen.
Mhm.
Is there any financial challenges have you been through, like emotional and financial challenges?
Yeah, a lot of them. To be honest, when I embarked on making this feature film, I actually stopped my medical work. I had to stop it because I could not do a feature film if I'm also working. I just did not have the headspace to navigate the medical world and also, be creative and be on set and directing a feature film and, all that sort of stuff. So I made the decision to stop my medical work. And the project's been funded by money that I've saved up. So money that I got from some of my acting jobs, I saved that up and got to the stage where I used that money, and look, I was looking for financial backers, looking for people to help me. I explored, my team and I explored grants, sponsors, investors, all that sort of thing, and it's hard. It's not easy. So in the end, the only way I could do it was to use my own money, prove to people that I can make a good film, and then use that now and say, look, guys, this is what I'm capable of. And hopefully, the next project, there will be people that can come on board and give me money. I want people to throw money at me, but it's hard to do unless you show them what you're capable of.
Yeah, actually, since you brought up this one, I would like to ask you what
Hmm,
type of methods you use to make this movie now.
hmm,
Like, as you mentioned, you went to the people and discussed this is what you want to make.
hmm,
And is there any very effective methods have you been trying to like have you used to make this movie?
hmm. Yeah, I think pretty much that the producers and I, we discussed many options. That, other things like crowdfunding. Quite a number of filmmakers use crowdfunding to try and get enough money to make the film. We considered it, but that's hard work. Crowdfunding is like begging. You go to family and friends and you beg, can you give me some money to help crowdfund? So we didn't use crowdfunding. We explored, we approached investors, we had meetings, and in the end, they pulled out. They're all very interested in this movie of yours, but they didn't really commit to, with money. Sponsors, we've approached sponsors as well. They're like, be associated with a great product. And again, the team and I've reached out to a number of people, and everyone's saying, "Oh, not we don't have the money to commit." So, so we approached a number of different people, and we were not successful. The good thing is, besides using my own money, a couple of producers in my team also contributed some money as well. So in the end, all of us just used our own money.
Oh, so it's like a self contribution, everybody. That's very very good things. See, all these factors, the financial crisis and the emotional crisis, balancing your job, does this influence your creative work or
Yes.
well-being as well? So How does this
Hmm.
influence your creative work and well-being?
Yeah, there's no doubt the funding affects you. There are things that you know there's a lot of this journey has taken 2 years from when we started the first day of filming to now when we've 2 years later when we've got a final product. So yes, it does affect your emotional well-being. The lack of money is always hard because it affects everybody, like all the team. I'd like to do this. I want to have this sort of product or this sort of prop or this sort of costume, this sort of set design. And we have to say, no, we can't do it. We have to be creative. And then we just have to accept it may not be the ideal, but we just have to be creative and manage it. So there's been a lot of disappointment along the way where things have not gone our, the lack of money has impacted on the way we could do things, and particularly in post production as well. If I had some more money, it could have made the project a little bit quicker, but unfortunately, it was there was only so much I could spend, and so we were restricted by what you could do. So during that post production progress, I was actually depressed for a few months because the project was going nowhere. The film wasn't like I thought this might be a film that never got finished, but luckily things turned around, and I have got some good people on board, and it got to the stage where now we've reached a completed product. And talk about turning it around. I'm now proud of this film compared to when I was a few months ago when I was depressed. And now I look at this film and I thought, wow, this is a good product. And we've done some good things here. So yeah.
It's definitely a good project. I heard a lot about this project, and I can totally understand the emotional crisis you have been through while you're doing the project.
Mm.
But still, you made out of this, and you have come so far. What you call long way. Definitely, this will open the doors, and producers will come and throw the money on you.
I hope
It's
so.
gonna happen. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Uh, is your creative work are like reflex of your cultural background, or you just go as you are, or any of your creative works influenced by your cultural backgrounds?
Yes, the answer is yes. There's no doubt if you're a storyteller and you have a good story to tell, there's no doubt I try to put a Chinese angle. My cultural background is Chinese, so I try to put a Chinese angle in there, maybe in a way that the your audience has never expected before. Like your typical Chinese culture, people think of
Mm-hmm.
it a certain way. But what I do is I think, well, let me tell an authentic story with my point of view, a Chinese angle, who I've come here from Hong Kong, been here for 5 years. I left Hong Kong and I've been in Australia since then. Let me give you some of my experiences and insights into the world. So not only from the Chinese angle, but use Western pop culture references. The whole thing of now telling a story for the modern world and using everything cultural identity, the whole, influences that I've had living in Australia, all that sort of thing. So yes, all of that is relevant.
So, is there any time have you felt pressure that there's expectations from you when you are making, like you made 30 short films? So, is there a pressure that you have faced that, hey, Tony, you have to make only this type of stories, only this cultural background stories? Is something like that? Have you faced any time?
No, that hasn't impacted on me. I was free to explore whatever I wanted. In having made more than 35 short films, I played with a number of different genres, tried out different things. Because I'm the head of a group here in Sydney called NAFA, which
Yeah.
stands for Networking Action for Filmmakers and Actors. I was able to link up with actors and filmmakers and post production people, and so that's why I was able to experiment and try different films. But I was not restricted in in thinking, oh, like I have to make it a certain way. Having said that, I did make a martial arts film. Talk about the Chinese.
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
I did make a martial arts film, thinking, oh, I'm going to try this. I like
Uh,
watching martial arts films. I thought I'll try and make one as well. So I have made one of them. But no, the stories I've explored, if anything, they're more exploring the medical angle. So yeah.
since we are touching this one, I would like to ask you, do you think Australia is welcoming more diverse projects or culturally background projects? What could be the betterment they can make it in terms of supporting the filmmakers
That's a
or
good
creative
question.
people? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there is no doubt I've seen in the acting world there's more diversity in acting roles. So Australia is now more open to that. It's not previously there were not as many roles. So in terms of filmmaking and opening it up for diversity in terms of more diverse projects, I I I think I haven't quite seen that fully realized as yet. Maybe I think it may end up being that both you and I, Pradeep, are going to be pioneers, and we're going to try and be the first to make that happen. At the moment, there's no doubt a lot of, people of different ethnicities, cultural backgrounds, ethnicities are making good projects. But I really want to explore that a little bit more from a government level, whether they really can actually help that side of things a bit more. I've certainly read that this is what they want to do. In fact, the most recent article you might have read, Pradeep, about Indian films being successful. Here, they've been like it's number three besides American, British. The number three film that's most watched in cinemas are Indian films because films that are made in India have a big following here. So I think if that can help the local filmmakers, then that may be helpful so Indian filmmakers like yourself may be able to tell your stories, but from a perspective of from an Indian living in Australia rather than from India directly. So
Yeah, actually, that's a very valid point, Tony, because I always see that people come and say there is cultural grants, there is cultural fundings, Screen Australia, or you name NSW, multicultural funds, so many funds people talk about. But I also truly, it's a very open political statement. I truly don't see uh, that level of projects or where is this funds going. I always doubt myself who's
mm,
making the money with these funds actually.
mm, mm.
So, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, I must say the what I've heard, if you talk about, I'm not sure about the multicultural fund, but if you do talk about trying to get government funding, it is hard work from people who've done it. You have to tick a lot of boxes. You have to fill in lots of paperwork and forms. So I haven't explored that to any degree. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll try it and see what sort of support I could get. But at the moment, I don't have any insights to that sort of thing because I haven't tried it myself.
Very well, very well. Question. That's correct. That's correct. You need to try to get in there. So let's talk about your support systems. What kind of support you're having in your life? Uh, because you're handling your creative passion, acting, directing, writing, producing, and then you are a successful doctor in the hospital. So, what types of support systems you are having right now?
Yeah, the support obviously the big one is the family. Your family have got to be understanding of what you're being crazy. It's crazy
Yeah.
and doing this creative passion which takes you months or years until you get a result. So um So I think I mentioned already, you have to also accept a lower level of income. So if you are really wanting to be rich, then this is not the sort of thing, because you have to accept a lower level of income while you're spending your money on funding the project. So definitely the family, and also then outside of the family, there are friends that are always been keen to know what you are doing. They haven't supported financially, but they just, it's good to have them at the background, so they know that, for example, when I was depressed for many months, they're aware that that was the case, and people take an interest in what you're doing. And yeah, the not you don't expect everyone to give you money, although that would be nice. So it doesn't have to be financial support. It's sort of emotional support, making sure that yeah, that they're looking forward to seeing what the end result is.
That's true. That's true. Doesn't matter what you do, how far you go, but you definitely need that emotional backup and family support.
Mm, mm.
Otherwise, you know, migrating from a different country and running after the creative passion where you don't get the money to pay bills, it won't happen without the family support.
That's right.
That's
That's
correct.
right.
Absolutely agree with that. What are
Mm.
your
Mhm.
current aspiration, like long-term
Mm.
goals?
Okay. Well, okay. Let me be honest with you, Pradeep. I'm not here to be rich and famous.
Uh,
That is not my aspiration. My real aspiration, to be honest with you, is I hope this money. I hope this money. I hope this movie at least gets my money back. At least I can say that, that it gives me a return of what I put in, and hopefully my big aspiration is it will make some money so that I can make my next project. So yeah, so that's all it is. That's I want to keep it very simple. Let me let me make a good film. It gives me some money. My All the money I put in, I make back, and then if there's a little bit of money left over, or it makes a bit more, then I can pay some of the people that also help me along the way. And then if there's even more money after that, I will use it and bring the same team with me to make my next film. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea and wishful thinking. Definitely, it's gonna make the money, and you will make another movie. What kind of
Mm,
challenges are you gonna foresee to make this happen? Do you see that
mm,
any problems or obstacles in your way to
mm.
make this happen?
Yeah, so its creative side, the creative business, the creative film business is there's no certainty there. No, you cannot. I feel very strongly that this will be a successful product, but there's no guarantee. That's the uncertainty that I'm facing. So the biggest challenge is whether the audience will is it well received? Like, will the audiences like it? You always have those doubts about, like, you make it, I like it, I like it, but will it find an audience? Will the film find an audience? So, but the biggest thing for me, Pradeep, is not just finding an audience here in Australia. I want this film to find an audience in the global market. So, is this film going to resonate with other people? Like, for so we have a number of different characters in there. So will it resonate in Asian countries? Will it be resonate with, other Western countries, all that sort of thing. So the story we wanted to tell is a bigger story. So not just Australian. So
Yeah.
so the challenge is it going to work? Is that going to resonate worldwide?
Mhm. Yes, yes, definitely. That's a good point. Tony, you have come a long way as we discussed this. You made 30 short films, and you're culturally diverse, and the background is medical field. You are struggling at the same time. maintaining your creative passion alive. So, what are the reflections, or we call advices, you give from your all these experience insights to the next generation of students or migrants?
Mm, that's a good question. My advice to that is if you do have this passion in you, if you do have this um, creative bent or creative passion, don't let it die. It's very easy to let it die, like I did. I suppressed it for many years, and then only recently I then picked up, did some courses, and then so I think the my advice is to still have a creative interest, try and dabble in and see how far it goes. If it becomes successful, if you do, for example, you could be a painter, photographer, you could be a filmmaker, an actor, whatever. You could be doing little things along the way. And then if you think that it feels like it's getting stronger and you're actually progressing in that area. Uh, this is my journey. So I started off as in an amateur, just dabbling it as a hobby, and then eventually for acting, screenwriting, and filmmaking, I've now turned professional. So I'm getting paid to do that sort of thing. So, you may be very early on as a hobby, and then you want to get to the later stage where you're being paid to do that sort of stuff. So yeah, so that's my advice. Don't let it die. Don't suppress it. Just let it and see. Whenever you get the opportunity to go and dabble in there.
That's very good. Don't let die your passion,
Mm,
creative passion. That's a very powerful word. And yes, definitely, it's gonna help lots of people. It's very easy to go away from your creative passion when your personal responsibilities, family responsibilities,
mm,
putting pressure.
mm.
Uh, so, Tony, with all your experiences and everything, is it passion can turn into your profession, which can meet your daily life expectations? Is that possible for the immigrants who comes to Australia?
That's a hard one to answer. Hard one to answer. I think you have
That's,
to try it.
yeah.
You may or may not be successful. It yeah, you unless you try it, you will never find out. So I think yeah, for anyone who's a recent migrant, uh, I it's like anything. You've got to have income some way. So you may have to work in an area that is not your creative passion, and then you build up to it. Try it. Yeah.
Thank you, Tony. Actually, it's a very wonderful conversation, and I know you have a very time restrictions. You have given limited time. I absolutely appreciate your time and being patient with me with these technology issues.
Mm,
Thank you very
no
much.
worries.
Would you like to share anything else before we wrap up, or anything, any thoughts in your mind?
Oh no, no, it's good. It's good that you're doing this sort of study, Pradeep. Looking into this sort of how, the balance between creativity and creative passions, and your profession. I think this is a good study, and also when you apply it to migrants as well. I don't think that's been studied before. So well done.
Thank you very much, Tony. I would like to request you, would you able to provide some of your working stills, your movie posters, and your personal professional links, which we can share with this video and add it on social media?
Yeah, yep, yep. I can. I've got you want more of the professional stuff, so I can
Yeah,
give
yeah,
you some.
professional, your family, would you, if you like, if it is okay, your family photos or otherwise, your professional working stills and your hospital, so that I can actually overlap where it's frozen.
Yeah. Um, for me, I don't like sharing family photos only
That's
because
fine.
yeah,
We will
yeah,
avoid
yeah.
that.
But
Yes.
I'll give you my professional one so you can have a look at some of my acting skills and obviously Mr.
Yeah,
Red Bean poster and
yeah.
all that sort of thing. So yeah.
And your short film links that I can share it also.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, I can share some of those. That's on YouTube. Yeah.
Thank you, Tony, for your time and
You're
appreciate
welcome.
on it.
It's a pleasure. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
Bye now. Bye.